Welcome, Kengo. Thank you for being here at last, because it has been very difficult because his agenda is, as you will understand, crowded of meetings and lectures, and by the way, tomorrow he will present a book, a twin book in the Architectural Association in London. So anyway, I have the pleasure to have here Mr. Kengo Kuma, Kuma-san, as they say in Japanese. He is one of the best Japanese architects, and what is more important for me is that is being part of my architectural life, because we made 3 competitions here in Spain. Finally, we win the Opera House in Granada. That is, the project is finished, and we hope someday we will build that building close to the Campo Baeza, Memoria de Andalucía, and Caja de Granada. And but the important thing is that Kengo Kuma has developed his career as an architect, reformulating the Japanese tradition. He went to Columbia, by the way, in 1985, the year I left Columbia. He went there, and he understood that he needed to reformulate some of the principles of the architecture that by the time was full of postmodern inputs, and he understood that he needed to reformulate that in a kind of organic, let's say, new way, connected with the problems of the material and the problems of organization, trying to develop a different way to understand the traditional role of material and organization and space in Japanese architecture, understood as an architecture that is not just Japanese, but is international, is global, working all around the world. Anyway, the important person here is Mr. Kengo Kuma, and I hope he will be able to delight you with his words and his work. Thank you, Kengo.
Okay. Thank you, Miguel, for a kind introduction. And so we are working together for long years, and also the guy is Diego Lopez. He's in charge of the Granada project from Paris, from my Paris office. And the title of today's lecture is After March 11. Probably you know March 11. March 11 is a disaster. It happened 2011, already 4 years ago. It's a big earthquake and tsunami attacks Japan. And I designed some buildings in that attacked area, up north area. I want to start from that project. It's a canal museum in Miyagi Ishinomaki. So this is a building, but this is difficult to find the building. Because the aim of the design of this museum is how to hide the building, how to delete the building in the environment. This is a building. And the 2/3 of the buildings is buried in the bank beside river, and the plan is like that. The plan is like the tunnel. It's building like the tunnel.
I'm sorry, because of the
I think it was a recording. It's okay. And the plan is like that. And the section is very important. The river is here, the town is here. Actually, the tsunami, the so came to here. And they came to here. This is the entrance of the building. And those small houses were destroyed. But luckily, so we have this section, and then so this building is surviving. And this is a big windows which separate exterior and interior. This as a furniture, this part outside, this part inside. And the tsunami happened March 11th. I went to this building April 2nd, just 2 or 3 weeks after tsunami. So at that time, the train was not connected. Only the freeway was broken. From Tokyo to here, it took 7-8 hours. So only by small cars. But luckily, the building is surviving, but surrounding the town, the 60% destroyed. It's unbelievable. I still remember what's happening around the buildings. But I found nature is so strong than architectural design. So if we ignore nature, if we forget nature, the architecture cannot survive. That is a strong message from the disaster. And this is a view from river. And this building is also I designed in up north area. This is a very famous Hiroshige Ando's work, 1857. And many artists learn many things from his work. The good example is Vincent van Gogh. He made a copy of Hiroshige. And Vincent van Gogh thought the message of Hiroshige is to respect nature. It is very different from Western painting at that time. And also another great artist, he learned Hiroshige, is him, Frank Lloyd Wright. It is his drawing. And the style of the drawings is very much influenced by Hiroshige. Some art historians thought, so without Hiroshige, Frank Lloyd Wright cannot find his style. And his style is the basis of his style is layering, transparency, juxtaposition between nature and the building. And that idea came from Hiroshige. Actually, Frank Lloyd Wright was a big collector of Hiroshige. In Boston Museum, if you go Boston Museum, many works of Hiroshige and collected by Frank Lloyd Wright. And what I did for Hiroshige Museum is translate Hiroshige's idea in architectural design. Transparency, superjuxtaposition of natural material. So you saw his work, the layers of laying. I want to go back. Layers of laying, layers of forest, 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers. And in front of those layers, he draws lines of laying. It is better understanding. Layers of laying, and second layer is bridge. And bridge is also transparent. And third layer is river, and fourth layer is forest. And just the positions of 4 layers. That is important point of Hiroshige. And also this guy, Frank Lloyd Wright, so for him, layering is a very important method. And my Hiroshige Museum, I want to create layering. And also in Hiroshige Museum, the museum is working as a gate between mountain and the village. And in Japanese traditional village, the mountains always has a shrine as an edge, because the people believed if the mountains, as a mountain, they call it a village mountain. If the village mountains was gone, we cannot survive, because every energy, every material, every resources came from the mountain. And the life of the village totally depended on the village mountain. And then they built shrine. This is a very strong message. But in 20th century, people forgot the message. The people abandoned the mountain. The mountain, they cut the trees, they abandoned the shrines. Actually, in this village, the mountain it was very, very bad situation, condition. And also the shrine was totally abandoned. It became the ruin in this village. And my message through this building is not going to the building, going through the building to the shrine. That is the message of this building. And also I try to use the material from the mountain as possible. This is entrance is coming from the village centers and going to the shrine, not going to the building. So this is my message. Shrine is more important than my building. The building is just the gate to the shrine. And those are the detail. As a transparency, superjuxtaposition is the theme of the detail. And also those materials coming from the mountain. And this is the interior. And also for interior, we use local material from the village. Rice papers is a product of the craftsmanship of the village. And we use a stone from the quarry of the village. This is not a special stone, but I want to use a local stone as possible. And the cedar from the mountain. And rice paper from the village. And the superjuxtaposition. The superjuxtaposition idea also adapted to the furniture design. And the next material is Adobe. The Adobe is not the name of software. Adobe is a material. Adobe is this material. In this as a village in Yamaguchi prefectures, I found this building. In Japan, this is very exceptional construction method, because most of the building in Japan has wooden constructions, and the plaster work is covering the wooden construction. But in this case, the construction structure is made by the clay of the place. This is the material. And Adobe is dry the clay of the place, is on site, and stacking. That is Adobe method. And in this village, they built a wall by Adobe method. They made building by Adobe method. But in 20th century, they forgot. So I'd like to reconstruct that method. This is a new block, Adobe block. made by the soil of the clay, clay of the place, and this is the final building. And in that building, we just have one Buddha, so 12th century. And it is one of national treasure in Japan. And usually, we need the perfect air conditioning for national treasure. But in this case, the material, the adobe, can control humidity and temperature. And then we don't have the machine in the building. The material is controlling the environment. And I think that idea is important. The before 20th century, so we didn't use machine for the air conditioning. The material and the architectural design is controlling the environment. And next material is bamboo. As I love the bamboo. Bamboo is a very transparent material. But bamboo, we should solve the problem of cracking of bamboo. So our solution is to use bamboo for the formwork of concrete. So we injected concrete into bamboo. Of course, we need to cut the fillers of bamboo. After filling the concrete, so we can make this kind of building. The floors, partition, ceiling, all made by bamboo. The super juxtaposition again, transparency again by natural material. As after this, the solution, so in Chinese project, close from Great Wall, we designed this building. You see Great Wall is behind the building. And the point is how to preserve landscape. So if we if we try to make flat land, it's a typical 20th century method. The isolated box on the flat land, if we go that direction, so we should cut the trees or trees. But I don't want to do that. And we keep the landscape, and we keep the trees, and the building is following the landscape. And in the center of the building, we have hall. Like Hiroshige Museum, the hall is penetrations is connected this world and another world. And this is part of the Great Wall. At the centers, we have hall, entrance. And this is the center of the building. And so we call this space the tea house. As a semi-outdoor space connected with nature, that is the most important part of the building. And by using wood, we have many experience, many trials. So one example is a project in Milan. There's a small pavilion in the courtyard of the old palace. This is the toy for kids in Japan. It's a traditional toy. The material is very simple. Three types of sticks with three types of joints. And from those simple elements, the kids can create anything. And without any steel metal joint, without any glue, they can make anything. The three types of joint, and just twist, finish. And so we brought those sticks from Japan, with special joint system. And our student built this pavilion in a week. After the experience, we want to achieve the permanent building, permanent structures by the same system. The ZC Museum is the name of the structures. In our Tokyo University, we tested this structure system. And the basic idea is we made this block in the factory, and we brought this unit to the construction site, and we make this one. Without any big column, the thin structure system is supporting the 10-meter high building. This is a completion. This is a building. And this section is important. This section is for the protect the building from rain, from climate, and also this white paint is important to protect the edge of the wood. This is interior. This is the ceiling of the buildings. We have the glazing in the grid, but this is almost transparent. And the next step is to make the bigger structure by the same system, similar system. It's a Yusuhara wooden bridge. It's a big span bridge made by wood. This is the interior. For wooden bridge, to cover the structure has some meaning, because wood is not so strong material. And beneath the roof, so we can have this kind of exhibition space. And also this is a space for the artists. Artists can stay in the village. Living in the village is very exciting as an experience. And for the same village, so we designed one hotel. The name of the hotel is Marché Yusuhara, Market Yusuhara. The hint of the hotel came from this small the cottage, the small hut. The material is the same as a material for hut. This is thatch. In Japan, traditionally, most of the small buildings was covered by thatch. But in 20th century, they forget. And it's very pity, I think. And for this building, I decided to use thatch. But I couldn't find a craftsman. They can use thatch for the building. And luckily, in that village, very old craftsman, still living, more than 70 years old. And I asked him to bring his friend to other villages. And finally, we could find a good team. Everybody very old, and they made this as a beautiful detail. This is a block they made. And this is the interior of this hotel. So the name of the Marché Hotel came from this market, this is a market of the vegetable from the village. And the next project is a different type of client, the Starbucks. The Starbucks, but the condition of the project is very different from normal Starbucks. It's next to Dazaifu Tenmangu, the shrine, built as a 919. It's very old building, very important shrine of Japan, south of Japan. The shrine is here. So again, the mountain and shrine is always set. At the edge of the mountain, there is a shrine, and there is approach, and the Starbucks is here. This very special location. What I want to create here is the wooden construction, not the decoration, but unique structural system. this is a structural system which supports the building. This shows a structural system. So again, the dimension of this stick is 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters. It's same as the DC museum, which I showed you before, and more as a complex. And this is a little bit expensive than normal Starbucks shop. But as a Guardian newspapers as introduced this Starbucks, and then Starbucks, after that, the Starbucks became very happy for that project. After Starbucks projects, the Sunny Hills is a pineapple cake company in Taiwan, came to us. So this is a shop for them. This is also not decoration. It's a 3-story building by the same system without any column. This is interior. The doors sticks are also, again, the 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters is supporting the project, the building. This is a rooftop garden. And this as a diagram shows the structural system of this building. This system, the name of the system is hell joint. Hell joint. It's a very strange name. So why it's called hell joint? Because it is a 3-layered system of wood. So if it is 2 layers, so we can slide, so we can take apart. But if we have 3 layers together, nobody can take apart, and then it's called hell. If it drops hell, nobody can be back, and this is hell. A very scary name. And then it shows the 3 layers. This is as the floors, and these the sticks are supporting the 3 floors. This is more difficult than Starbucks structural system. And this is a new project, probably as you haven't seen this project. It's a birch moss chapel. Birch, name of tree, moss is green moss, chapel. This is Birch Moss Chapel in the Nagano Prefecture. As Nagano Prefecture, this area has a beautiful birch forest. And then my idea is chapel is going to merge, melt in the birch forest. And those the trunk are supporting the roof of the chapel. And outside of the chapel, we also have birch forest. And this section shows a birch forest and the birch trunk supporting the building. This is outside, and this is inside. But the border is very ambiguous. And this is a transparent roof in the forest. And this is, so nobody can say which is architecture, which is forest. And also the moss is going to the interior, and the border is disappearing. So we designed those as acrylic benches as also transparent. And this project is built in center of Tokyo. It's built in front of this old temple. this temple is a very interesting temple because temple and galleria as a street is set. So after going to the temple, the people are going to the galleria to do shopping, and there is a traditional lifestyle of Japan. After temple, the gallerias, interesting shops, and there's a gate. And our site is here. The is a competition. Is a proposition for the competition. In front of the gate, is a 8 wooden houses. That is the first idea. Because this area is a very historical, traditional area, and the concrete big building is not fitting the context of the place, and that is our proposition. And in that sections, we can utilize those triangular space for the mechanical machine. And this is a rendering for the competition. And this is as an image of the building, finally. There's a temple, gallerias, gate, and this. And this is, I think this is a set of life. This is the ground floor, and this is the 5th floor. So this is, as the roof is inclined, and we use the inclination for the steps of the stage as the small theater. This is rooftop cafe. Look down the galleria. And this is a city hall. The city hall is important, but in 20th century, City Hall is just a concrete box, small, became the office building. My City Hall is not the office building. My City Hall has the Doma space in the center. Doma space in the center. I want to explain Doma space. Doma space is that kind of a space. It's a typical planning for the farmer's house in Japan. The people are working here. It's a kind of semi-outdoor space, as a working space, as agriculture, and there's a kitchen, and they're eating here normally. In the special ceremony, they are eating here, but daily life, they are living is here. And the Doma is the center of their daily life. And anybody can come here. This is open to the community. This is no security, basically. It's a typical Japanese style. So I want to bring back this style to the big building. This is Doma we designed for this building. The Doma is usually covered as not covered, it's earth. And then the warmness of the earth is an important element of Doma space. And then we also use as a clay for the Doma space. It's not covered by stone, it's not covered by ceramic tile. And as for the material, we use a local material. It's very rough, natural finish of local wood. And we set the special rule, every material of this building should come the maximum 15 kilometers from the site. And this rule works very well for this project. And this Doma space is covered by the photovoltaic panels, and we have those furnitures, and eventually the children of the town are gathering here. They do homework, the family are gathering here, and the family are coming to buy some small items. And it's very unusual for this kind of public building. Usually public building is concrete block. They refuse the people. But this is open to the public, open to the community. And the photovoltaic panels is covering Duma. And this is as a gymnasium, as a arena, as a totally open to the Doma space. And we have the ping pong tables in the gymnasium. And every afternoon, the school kids are gathering here to play ping pong. And those the ladies are coming here for dancing. And this is the assembly hall for politicians. It's also open to the public. They're very transparent. The people are watching what they are speaking. A material, as another material we use is rice paper from the place. This is a special method that they are doing. Those snows make rice paper whiter. This is called white rice, snow rice paper. And this is earth, and the snow rice paper. And that snow rice paper is used for sofa of the building. We designed those sofa. And also still, some farmers are making this product, silk product. It's a beautiful natural silk products. As we use this material for the counter of this the office. And in Europe, we also designing based on that method. There's a project in France, Besançon City of Arts and Culture. The site is here. There's an old building, nature. This is my favorite condition. We preserved all the building. This is old building, and nature and city were connected by this penetration. This hole. This is a important connection, important gate to nature. The river is here, city is here. So we designed this the green slope, we designed this biotope, and also we designed this covered space. In Japanese building, so we have engawa space. Engawa space is covered space between the exterior and the interior. That is important as a vocabulary. So in this building, so we have hall and we have engawa space. This is as an engawa space. This is a small creek we designed. And the material came from the mountain. In that case, so we use larch from the mountain. As a preservable building. The conversation with old and new start here. There's a concert hall made by wood. And there was a rooftop. And this is a project for Marseille. There's a Fonds Régional d'Art Contemporain. There's a material. So we found a unique material from Marseille. So I did it as a research. As I found the interesting factory is producing recycled glass. And the effect of this glass is, it reminds me the effect of rice paper screens. It's just make light softer and warmers. I won't make building so more open to the public. And then we use this kind of the screen by soft material, like that. This is the interior. This is semi-outdoor space. As the effect of light, as it can happen like that. this is a project in Aix-en-Provence, Darius Milhaud Conservatoire. This is a building. In Aix-en-Provence, we worked with aluminum company. They did a beautiful aluminum paneling. We are talking, as Diego was in charge, and we are talking about the effect of the origami, the holding aluminum, the creating shadow, the protect window from natural light is a sustainable solution for that kind of climate. And also the Aix-en-Provence is famous for the Cézanne, the Sainte-Victoire, the beautiful shadow of the mountain trees. So we get a hint from that. Interiors is this is a concert hall. Asymmetry it's good for acoustic. Another origami effect made by wood. It's a newest project in Paris. The entrepot McDonald's. In this case, McDonald's is not hamburger. This McDonald's is the name of the boulevard. This is the location. The 1970, this entrepot McDonald's was built. It's a 600 meters building. It's a long industrial building. The idea is converted this long industrial building to the space for community. So we were selected as the architect for this part of the building. And grand design was done by Rem Koolhaas, OMA. And their idea is preserve this existing part as an entrepot and add each as a building. And those French architects add box, concrete box, but we add roof, the different idea, because the roof can create the semi-outdoor space between the exterior and interior. That is our idea. And again, we don't want to close a building. This type of C-shaped courtyard can make connection possible. And the neighbors and the building can have the conversation through this C-shaped courtyard. This is a roof. There's another origami effect for the roof. As for the material, materials is again very important. So this is a zinc panel. So in Paris, as you know, zinc is very important material. The roof, zinc roof, is historically, traditionally important. And then we decide to use zinc panel for the facade of the building to control all natural light, and use wood for the roof again. The soffit of the roof, that is important. So in Japanese architecture, the soffit is always made by wood, and people look up the soffit, as a warm feeling from the wooden soffit can make building warmer. The zinc and the wood. This is the interior. As a Granada, we are working with Miguel, and the 2008, we won the competition in 2008, is already 7 years. This is Granada. Granada is pomegranate, is a very unique geometry, is a hexagonal geometry, and another is Alhambra. It's beautiful. So we can find unique geometry in Alhambra as well. This kind of ceiling is beautifully as a geometrical solution. So that's similar solution for this building. We try to avoid the grid system, the column and boy as a beams system is not fitting the program of the opera house, and our solution is that kind of the hexagonal honeycomb shape. So this honeycomb is supporting the building. This is a plan. So this is an opera house for 1,500 seat, and the honeycomb system is not decoration. Honeycomb system is supporting the building and also creating the interior space. This is a honeycomb system to create the interior. This is a section of the wire system, the space. As the honeycomb geometry is controlling the every spaces. This is honeycombs is dominating every space, is controlling every spaces to create the human small spaces like that. So we hope the construction starts soon. Because Granada is, my memory for Granada is when I was children, my favorite song is the Miles Davis Sketch of Spain. I still remember that song, and Granada is a place for that sketch of Spain, and I want to realize that project. The Victoria Albert Museum, this is 2010. Again, as a competition, we won the competition in 2010, and finally construction start last March. So we got a hint from the cliff, the section of the cliff. This is a first sketch, and this is a plan. The river, big river, and the land will be connected by this museum. We design the hole. We cut the hole to create penetrations, connection to the beautiful landscape of Scotland. And this is a precast concrete detail that came from the cliff. And this is the center. This direction is going to the center of the town, and connected through this arch. That idea is important for us. Always the gate building is not the final object. This building is gate to bring people, draw people to nature. Interior. And besides those projects, the last part of the lecture is about small project. The small experimental project is also very exciting. It's a Verona, as a stone-carved castle. But it's called castle, but it's a small as a pavilion. It's made by the stone. This is a stone. But the thickness of the stone is 1 centimeter. So this stone, if the structure system, the triangular structure system is strong, even the papers can make the structures by this system. And then 1 centimeter stone can make structures by using this system. And this is a stone castle, as made by the stone from the Florence. And after that, we decide to apply this system to by aluminum card. In the old street, the wooden houses is a beautiful as a heritage of the town. It is this as a aluminum as a card castle is for the temporary event. Easy to move, easy to construct. This is a joint. Again, it's the same as the thickness, 1 centimeter thickness. But it's as a double panel system and a special joint. And after achieving this structural system, we decide to adapt this system to the house. This structure is strong enough for creating house, and our student made this house by themselves. The student made by themselves. The one single material that can create kitchen and they create anything in the house. And after that, we designed, based on the similar system, we designed the small boutique, the Lucien Pelafine boutique, the very expensive cashmere shop. So we just have 3 types of joint, but the effect is like that. And this is the next material is ceramic tile, the ceramic tile cloud in Italy. The point of this project is the ceramic tile is supporting the building. It's very different from normal use of ceramic tile. Normally, ceramic tile is for cladding, the surface. But in this case, ceramic tile is supporting the structure. So this is a structural analysis of this as a monument. It's a 4-meter high structures, and vertical element is the stainless pipe. Again, is 1 centimeter. It's very thin stainless pipe, and the ceramic tiles is a woven structure. And the ceramic tiles is also beautiful, we think, and we use ceramic tile for this museum in China. But this is not structure. This is just a screen. We collected the old ceramic roof tile from the place, then the stainless rod supporting hanging the ceramic tiles. This is hydraulic shell shape is made by this material. And next step is next material is more unique. As a material for this pavilion is shape memory alloy. It's alloy. But it has a special memory for the temperature. In some special temperature, it's become very hard. The other temperatures is soft. That is a secret, the magic of this material. And if temperature is high, it's very hard, and then like that. If temperature drops, it is getting softer. This is the structural system. This is how to make it. And this is, and in the night time, if temperature drops, the top of the pavilion is dropping like that. It's very organic architecture. Organic architecture is not about that final shape. Organic architecture is coming from the system, that is my idea. And Casa Umbrella is a small pavilion in Italy. In Japanese, the casa means not house. In Italy, in Italian, casa means house. But in Japan, casa means umbrella. So we are using casa like that. And then this is a kind of double meaning. So the umbrella house and casa house. But the hint is coming from the Buckminster Fuller's idea. The Fuller dome, he wrote that 20 facets create one as a perfect dome. So we got hint from his idea. But the difference is the structure. This is a unit. It's a very fashionable umbrella, those items. And the 15th umbrella can make one pavilion. And the 15th student can make this. And the joint of the umbrella is just the zipper. And the Buckminster Fuller has a framing. But here, just the umbrella frame and membrane. So it's a tensegrity structural system. The membranes, tensions, and the compression of the frame is working together. And this is supporting this pavilion. As you see the zippers, and this triangular part is important for this geometry entrance. And my student want to stay night here and eat here. 50 students can eat here, stay night here. It's big enough for 15 students. As the idea of this, the house is as a kind of house for refugee. So if we can carry the umbrella, so we can make house. So even as the infrastructure was down, so we can still survive in the city. That is the idea. And a similar idea, water block house, get a hint from this block. And controlling weight by water, the filled waters. And the next step is the New York MoMA's the exhibit, formal delivery exhibit. This is formal delivery exhibit. This is the next version of water brick house. So in this new version, we have two bulbs for both ends of the block. And by having two blocks together, so we can get the flow of waters in the wall. And usually the wall system and the piping system is separated. But in this case, the wall itself is piping. The water is flowing in the wall and in the floors. And in this experimental project, the water is flowing in the building, flowing in the wall, flowing in the floor, and flowing in the bed as well. And the hot water can be created in this heat collectors outside. And this is it's also the student work. The units are connected like that. And the water is flowing in the building. This is interior. This is a small bed. Even for Japanese, it's too small. This is kitchen, and it's a small generator. The aim of this project is the autonomy of the house. if the infrastructures was down, still we want to survive, and then in that kind of autonomy house. So this idea was realized in the permanent house, the Beijing tea house. This is the unit for Beijing tea house. This is a structural system, and this is the interior of Beijing tea house. This is this is not the picture. This is in front of Forbidden Palace. It's a very, very special location. So we can see Forbidden Palace from here. But structures is very unique. This is interior. This is facade. This as a street is a kind of preserved area, and we should keep the roof of the old building. Those are the neighbors. Those are neighbors. We kept the roof of the old building, and this is the new structures by poly tank. This is the rooftop, so it's a Forbidden Palace. As for tea house, in Frankfurt, this is the tea house by membrane. It's an inflatable tea house in Frankfurt. Very instant, the inflatable structures. This is a traditional tea house, but a very contemporary technology. And the Fuan is the next version. Is the Washington National Building Museum. We built this tea house. It's a balloon, it's an inflated balloon, and a very light fabric. The super organza is the name of this fabric. So again, it's a traditional tea house with contemporary technology. So we adapted these pavilions. And this is the furnitures were made by the same system. And finally, the house, hint by this the traditional house for North area in Japan. This is the permanent the house made by the membrane. In Hokkaido, it's very, very north. Sometimes it's under minus 30 degrees, but no insulation. Just a two membrane and airflow between the two membranes. And in this kind of condition, those are just two membranes, airflows. And I stayed here many times, but I still survive. And in this Hokkaido's village, we are inviting many universities to participate in the competition of experimental houses. This is from the Bangladesh, bamboo from Bangladesh. This is this is hay. The hay is naturally creating the heat. The hay is a heating system, and in this case, the horse is creating heat. This is Harvard GSD is participating in this project. This is the University of Berkeley has created this house. And last project is a very light structure made by magnet and wood and the membrane. as a magnet is connectors of those sticks. The magnet is connecting those sticks. The idea is we can carry this house like that. And the final project I show you today is the lightest pavilion we designed, pavilion of incense. The idea came from this as a gadget. It's a fragrance. And this bamboo sticks as a bling, as a smell, incense to environment. So we make these bamboo sticks for connecting each other to support the pavilion, like that. This is a test pavilion. In Royal Academy of Art in London, they gave us 2 spaces. This is a pavilion, 2 pavilions. One, the smell is the smell of wood. The one is the smell of tatami mat. The tatami mat smell is also a very, very special smell. And the liquid and the bamboo sticks, as a joint of bamboo sticks, by plastic tubes, like that. And this is the final solution. It's very like almost transparent, almost nothing. But, so we can have the experience. So that is a ideal structure for us. The structure is almost disappearing, but experience, the effect, still exists. So for human, that kind of experience is very important, I think. Thank you very much.
Please.
In relation to the buildings that seem to have a more unique structural system, is it the structural system that gives the shape of the building, or do you make the shape and then adapt that structure towards it?
Yeah, basically it depends on the project. Sometimes the structural system is deciding the shape of the building. Sometimes the environment is deciding the shape, and the environment deciding the structural system. Sometimes the direction is going from inside to outside. Sometimes the design direction is going from outside to inside. But always the conversation between this power and this power is very important. So we are adjusting 2 powers. That kind of adjusting system is most important system for architectural design. Not going not following one direction. We respect both directions. Sometimes 3 directions, 4 directions. Many powers are gathering here. That is the most exciting part. Okay.
Since you are from a country with strong traditions, I would like to know how do you think the tradition and culture, of a place should affect or influence on a design of a project?
Japan, we can get many hints from Japanese traditional architecture, but sometimes we got a hint from the tradition from other places. In Granada projects, we got a hint from Alhambra Palace, in Scottish projects, we got a hint from their masonry buildings, not necessarily to get a hint from our born place. We are open to every places, because we all living in very global situation, not necessarily to be as a limit to my born place. So that is important. And also from China and from Korea, the architecture tradition is similar to Japan, but as some kind of as a different versions. It's also very interesting for us.
Hi. In your Memo Meadows project, I'd like to understand how you said that there's a difference, a high temperature difference between the inside and the outside. As in the outside, it's a minus 30, you said. Mm-hmm. How did you control the difference between the interior and the exterior, as it might be a plastic, as I think?
Yes, the metals process two membranes. And between two membranes, we have the heater. And that heater is creating warm air. It's circulating in the membrane. And that is one system. And another system is building is touching the ground, touching the earth. And historically, the ethnic minority living in Hokkaido, so their house I showed before metals is covered by the leaves. Those houses are touching the ground. And they were heating the ground even in summer. And it's a kind of heat storage. The ground was used for heat storage. It's a very smart system they applied. And we did the same system, heating the ground and heating the space between the two membranes. And then it works. Next.
Projects use materials from the same area. Is it limiting?
Hmm?
Is it limiting to use materials from the same area?
So in many of your projects, you were using materials from the same area. Is it limiting?
Limiting. Sometimes we use local material from this area, but sometimes we bring the material from other area. We are very flexible. If we limit the material only from the region, the potential of architecture will be dropped. So I'm afraid of that kind of limit. Because architecture is the most important thing for architecture is creating something. We sometimes use a limit. We sometimes use a condition, but not 100%. Okay. Please.
You spoke earlier about the importance of nature in architecture. How important is it? How important is it to your inspiration of of designing the form and the structure of the architecture you want to build on in this particular area? For example, when you said the importance of the mountains in the Japanese villages, would that have an effect of your building shaped as a mountain or a particular natural form?
Yeah. The nature is always giving me many hints. Traditionally, for architectural design, the nature is not neglectable. But in 20th century, the big problem of 20th century architecture is the concrete, the steel buildings, forget the importance of nature. This is a kind of independent building, isolated from nature. But the traditional building, especially in Japan, the traditional building is very open to nature and environment, and in that kind of traditional buildings, we can get many hints for the future sustainable building. We want to go beyond 20th century's as a strategy, 20th century method. Then I want to research natures. We want to research the environmental issues as possible as can. And that kind of attitude itself is very important. And then sometimes we use some industrial material. The plastic tank is not natural material, but through the researching, through testing those materials, so we can learn how to work with nature. That is my attitude. Okay.
So most of the population today in the 21st century lives in cities, and the number of millions of cities tend to increase to 75% in 2050. What is your view on the paper that architects need to have on the future of cities in order to transform them?
I think the city, even the city, the people like to live with nature. That point is important. In 20th century, the city life is very artificial environment, and outside the city, the people can live with nature. That is the separation of lifestyle. But so in futures, the compact city is important. For energy or for sustainability, to live in the city is getting more important. And even in that kind of condition, people like to live with nature, people like to feel nature, and the architects should design the building for that kind of the lifestyle. And my use of natural material for the bigger building, for example, Asakusa project. It's a 40 meters building, but we are using wood, and each space is like very similar to the one-story wooden house. And that kind of wisdom is necessary for the compact city. And also the Nagaoka City Hall, it's also in the center of the city. But people can feel the earth, people can feel wood, even in the city. That is the direction we are going to. Okay.
Bueno, yo tengo una última pregunta. I have one last question. I remember you explained me the influence of your teacher Uchida. I don't know if it's
yes,
good.
Uchida.
In front of the Tange the Tange tradition. There was a kind of two lines in Tokyo University. One was the Kenzo Tange, that is the most known, one of the better known Japanese architects from the 60s. And the other one is the Uchida. And you were talking about the Uchida tradition as something that was very important for you. And I would like you to finish your lecture with.
Interesting point. As in Tokyo University, as a Kenzo Tange, probably you know Kenzo Tange's name. He was born 1913, and his generation, the goal of his generation is catch up with the modernism architecture. So he studied modernism architectures. And some of his friends went to Paris to study under Le Corbusier. So that is a generation's basic idea. And he built Yoyogi Gymnasium. It's a beautiful gymnasium. The shape, as for the shape, he got a hint from Japanese architecture, he said. But basically, it's concrete structures with a very industrial material. This is one direction. This is one as a school in Tokyo University. Another school in Tokyo University is Professor Uchida. And in that period, Uchida still taught the Japanese udon structure system. This looks out of date at that time because everybody want to catch up the American styles, but Uchida is going to another direction. But because of Uchida's education, I could learn the importance of Japanese tradition as the udon structure system, as a use of material, we got many hints for future architecture through Uchida. And then the Tange's influence is also, I learned many things from Tange, but without Uchida, I could not go this direction. And your point is very important.